Welcome to the 87th episode of Rambling Weekly. I'm going to call it The Competition That Is Life. A little bit different. The camera's acting a little buggy, so that or I'm just too simple to figure it out. So this is going to be a one big recording kind of thing going here. So, enjoy the pictures or just listen to it. Kind of treat it like a podcast. That's kind of probably the better way to do it anyways. Nobody wants to see this ugly mug. Kidding aside, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. And with that, there's just going to be an outro. Now, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of cutting and splicing with this. Might be a little bit easier for me. Not that it's like difficult. I guess it's just more of trying to compress things in a timely fashion so I have other things that I can accomplish. That's what you do as an adult. All right, totally right. Anyways, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. It's been a fairly busy week. Nothing awful or anything. It's just been consistently, sometimes my work week will be, oh, here's a lot of hours, a few hours, a lot of hours, up and down. Last week it was pretty consistent. So, can't go wrong with that. I have reignited, I guess would be to put it, listening to podcasts. I had not been listening to podcasts for a while, and I just was like, I haven't listened to those good old Dan Carlin hardcore history things, so I figured, hey, let's give those a listen. So that's been nice to get back into and listen to that. There'll probably be some other podcasts that I'll stumble upon and be like, yes, I'll listen to these again. So that's been nice. Other than that, I think I might have mentioned it last week. If not, I've been playing a little bit of the remastered version of the Dark Souls, the first one. I have gotten, I played a bunch of it first time through and then just was like, whatever. Now I'm playing it again, a little bit more committed, we'll say. A little bit more, I'm going to do this. And I have now hit the point where I have the Lord Vessel and I can teleport to different bonfires and stuff. So, don't know exactly how far that's into it. And, playing it first time through, and I guess New Game Plus stuff, it's a bit tougher and whatnot, which is neat, I guess. Question mark? But I'm not nearly struggling as much with it this time around as I was beforehand. Not yet, at least. So we'll see if that trend continues, or if I have gotten over the dumb hill to actually now make the ascension and climb to playing through it. But we'll see. Beyond that, nothing too exciting. Had stuff for my mother's birthday, and that's really about it. I got work, regular bit of work coming this week, so it might be a little late due to the holiday, but I still work during the holiday, so not like I'm going to be getting that off or anything. So, meh. That's really it. I don't really have too much to add to it. It's been a pretty, like I said, it's been consistent and stuff. Not in a bad way or anything. Truthfully, I need to get back onto the wagon for writing, because writing, I should say. That's how I sound. Right, writing, because I fell off the wagon for a bit, and I've really need to get kind of focused on that, so get back into going along with that. So I have that's really what I've got going on. I'm still working on part 3 for the Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. So I don't know how much I have written of it. I've added a bit more, but I still got more to write for it. So got that, and then I would probably say if I'm not 3/5 of the way through, I may be 4/5 somewhere around there. There's some stuff I want to kind of get into with it, but beyond that, yeah, that's really all that's been going on. Like I said, it's kind of a swift week. So, yeah, nothing. Knock on wood. Let's keep it that way. I really don't need to be needing any more headaches at the moment. It would be appreciated. Yeah, so we're going to get into the topic here a little bit. So, like I said, not doing any of the buffers and all that sort of stuff this time around. It's just going to be the outro. And the topic for today is, I don't know why I started off that way, but whatever, is the competition that is life. Now, this is... I bring this up because... well, let's see why. There's a for a very long time, there was the attitude of that was described as keeping up with the Joneses. You would see this pretty consistently to a degree with the I don't want to say the race for it, but there always felt like there was an underlying bubbling element when it came to collecting and stuff, especially when the collection element of YouTube videos and stuff were a pretty prominent part of my viewing and the people that I knew and stuff years and years and years ago. There were maybe not like an overt, but there's a little bit of a race to it. To hey, gonna be going for this, gonna be trying to get these and whatnot. Some trying to collect the whole thing, some just trying to collect maybe a whole catalog of I don't know LJN games, that sort of thing. But that race has, I think, slowly morphed a little bit. I, to some degree, I feel a little. I still get that to some degree. I feel that a little bit when I see people have put out videos on something, and it's like, oh well, I don't want to do that. Somebody else has put out a video, which isn't fair because there's somebody's going to have different thoughts and opinions on whatever, and you just got your own style and all that sort of fun jazz. There are differences. The other race element that I'd like to bring up on this is the, hey, I gotta be the first one to get this thing out there. Gotta be first to put this out there. Gotta go. If you ain't first, you're last sort of attitude. Which is juxtapositioned by a thread of how what are they called, like essayists, the essay YouTuber thing, sphere, realm, community, peoples, those who make the really long YouTube videos. They certainly have the go it at your own pace and will be pick the weird stuff and or whatever, something I like, and talk about it for X amount of time and stuff. One in particular that I've kind of listened to, and it was neat to see that him mentioning Pete Dorr in a very different element was Majuler. I got a chuckle out of that. It's like that is very, very interesting to see. But his videos have been, and truthfully, I think watching his stuff kind of rekindled me giving another try with Dark Souls and stuff. But yeah, just you see this to some degree as well, to try to be first in getting a lot of music, especially if it is remixes or covers of stuff for popular games or popular TV shows and stuff. Always trying to chase that, and I don't know if it's because they're trying very hard to hit the the algorithm spin and whatnot. And in doing so, they can finally get to be a part of the big boy club or big girl club. And go. And it feels like, to me, in seeing that, the very destructive tendency, not always, of course, but a very destructive tendency can come from that, in that you're constantly trying to chase that, whether it's, it could be simply for the affirmation, the social affirmation of people are watching this, whether they like it or not, they're watching it. View number go up, brr, whatever. And so there's that race to get that little shot of dopamine high, that validation because I am being watched. Notice me, senpai. And you have that element, and then you've got the, maybe there's just a more business-like approach of, okay, this is what is working successfully, this is what I'm going to do, and this is... I feel like those people, if they stick to that, they're a little bit more likely not to fall to treachery so much, but I feel like with social... like popularity, with having a lot of abundance of something, whether that is physical money, social currency, and just that sort of thing, unless you've got your little duckies in a row, quack, 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 in the sense of, and even then, if you're grounded, it can still cause trouble. Because if you are not of sound moral, and that, I'm not saying which morals to go for. I'm just saying, I got this and this and this. If you're able to hold to your convictions, and you're very strong of self, that those dangers of popularity or financial success and stuff are a little bit harder to seed themselves in there. Not to say that it isn't impossible, but I think that's the big thing. And I say that as just thinking of, like, a lot of times how somebody who was raised in a very cloistered, very cloistered, that's the word I was looking for, very cloistered environment, protected, kind of always sheltered, and then the moment they get out, they kind of fly off the handle, and then they tumble down the mountainside. That, I think, is one of those easy troubles that we fall into a lot. Part of that, perhaps, is that there is some embedded jealousy that we see these other people who have done all these crazy things, done this risk, and taken these challenges, or done the bad things, quote unquote, or just flying off the handle, and then they're like, well, they've done it before, I'm gonna do it now. When you're already on you've done about 20 plus years maybe of your life, and then all of a sudden you're like, yes, let's just change trajectories. And it's kind of like a ship. You can turn it, but it's going to take a moment for the ship to start turning in that direction. But if you try to do it too fast, you're going to list. And listing is no. I think that's what it is. I think when you list, when you when the center of the gravity of the boat starts to go, and you can overturn. I think that's what that's called. I think. We're going to go with that. If that's wrong, somebody let me know. But all of that is to basically kind of go into the idea that very much so, I think, a lot of us kind of question what's the race that we're running. A lot of people seemingly as we've kind of hit this sort of inflection point, have gotten to the point where the rat race. I remember when I was a kid, it was kind of being mocked and whatnot of, oh, gotta do this, you gotta work, you gotta hustle, and do all that. But to what point? And that could be possibly because they saw their parents doing nothing but work, so they never spent time with them. And then, that pendulum can swing way in the other way where you're spending too much time. And to borrow a quote from my own writings, too much of mother's milk spoils the child. But that's you gotta let people live and grow up, make mistakes, get messy, Miss Fizzle. But some people don't want to run that rat race. Some people don't want to grab the baton of what's been going on. And I did not intend for it that way, but we'll go with it. Grab the baton for what's been going on, and then just continue running the same chain, the same race, and then pass it on to the next person. Yeah, I think that's a trouble we kind of fall into, is wanting to run that race like that without understanding, where are we in correlation to everything else. That, or we become very competitive, and I think competition and being competitive isn't the unhealthy part. The unhealthy part is when it becomes vindictive, or when you're damaging yourself to try to put yourself above with without having to go through the pain and suffering of working through it. If you're cheating and stealing and doing those kind of sneaky, conniving ways of going about things. So we have the issue of competing and that sort of thing. The other pitfall we tend to fall into, and I think this is the same thing that happens when we're trying to just understand and figure out and reason to ourselves, and then eventually we come to a reason we like, and we're like, that's totally it, without ever questioning it. Or maybe we might question it for a moment, but never. We only tend to revisit it when things start to go badly. And like, well, this isn't right. This has started to fail me. I think I'm going to jump ship and go to something else because this has failed me this one time. It's a very human trait. We see this all throughout history. Of this ain't working, Chief. I'm going to go do something else. Anyways, the having that competition to degrees, iron sharpening iron sort of idea can work until you break the machine. But the competition should be within oneself, and not necessarily competing against previous self versus self now, but more so in the sense that we are competing, like it should be the competition between the chosen self and the unchosen self. The decisions you make in the moment versus the ones that you didn't, and how that's panning out. And that could be kind of a very heady, very hard thing to do, to be just like, here, let me step out of myself for a moment, and then be like, okay. And that's not to say that's how you should be doing it, but that competition, do I choose to, for example, do I choose to do some writing, or do I choose to do some reading? That's not necessarily leading one way or a bad way, because there's the easy choice, right? Do I stuff my face with the ho-hos and the donuts and the pizzas and all that sort of stuff? Or do I go take an exercise? Take an exercise. Yes, take an exercise. That ain't alien. I know how the English language works. I just have trouble expressing it sometimes. But I do I take a jog or go for a swim, even just for a walk or something. Obviously, those are very different paths. I think when you try to get into more nuanced decision making, that's where we tend to struggle. And not to say that we don't struggle with dieting versus food intake and that sort of thing. But I think that's what we need to really focus on. It's more so the competition of the things that we choose to do, like watching a television show we may not like so much, but maybe significant other or your kids like to enjoy, so you're spending some time that way. Or personally for me, I didn't really care for that, so I would rather go out and when I was a kid, I enjoyed much more throwing the football with my dad than sitting there watching a TV show. If I was to make a third rung of an in-between, playing Madden with him when I was a kid. Yes, there was Madden even back in my day. But so that'd be like going outside and playing with him, or playing Madden as number 2, and then just watching something with him as number 3. So it's those sorts of choices, because then if you take that moment, say for example, hey, if I spend this hour writing, where does that leave me if I was to do that again? The problem I think we try to do is we try to quantify it beyond simply the hour spent. So it's like, oh, if I spend an hour on this, how much work did I get done? And you can't really, you can look back on it, but in the same hand, it's a creative process. So sometimes, I could spend an hour and get 10 pages written. Really not happening, but let's pretend. Let's pretend that that's the case. I get 10 pages written, or I could spend an hour and get 2 pages written. But the quality of the 2 versus 10, maybe the 2 are absolutely garbage, and I'm just struggling, and the 10 are just those are great. It's those things that just really. We just gotta, I think, be more, if we're going to be competitive of the moment of the self. Because the other pitfall is trying to compete with quote-unquote past glories. I used to get hundreds of, whatever. I used to get hundreds, even a couple thousand of views on YouTube videos, and now I don't. If I thought like that would be an unhealthy way of going about it, because not only are you competing with an entirely different self, old self versus new self, entirely different set of rules and circumstances and situations. Circumstances and situations kind of the same thing. But so really, it's an apples and oranges. Sure, they're both fruits, and sure, they can be both tasty depending on how you're eating them. I know sometimes oranges can be kind of bitter. Apples are kind of meh. I'm not a big apple guy, but it's an unnecessary comparison, and then it's just another way that our brain tries to trick itself into, either belittling or some way of trying to, hey, just give it up. But, I don't know, I think, at least for me, this is what's worked out, is the competing with the self in the moment and going through the different, not necessarily running through all of them, but okay, I've got these options for myself. What do I choose to do? And then that's the choice I make. Because for example, Sudraba first book has probably sold better so far than this one book I just recently put out, Sage's Calling. However, I very much am of the mindset that Sager's Calling is a much better book. So I am very, very happy with that. I am not like, oh, fiddlesticks kind of thing. It's like, okay, it didn't sell as well. That's fine. Like, it's fine with me. I'm not like crazy. Oh my goodness, this is the end of the world or anything. Partially because I'm awful at advertising myself. That certainly doesn't help. But if I let that affect me, it would be an easy way to be like, I just don't want to write. Now, I haven't been writing as much as I'd like to since I've released it, partially because I've been a schmuck and I've been probably playing the video games a little too much. But that was more because it was decompression time. And now it's time to, we're about to hit the second half of the year. It's time to get super serious, Super Saiyan serious, and go about things and go and go a level beyond and all that sort of fun jazz. Because life, if anything, is an infinite choice game, and certainly we can choose some of the sillier choices, but it'd be probably better to make the choices that lead to us not being able to experience the shade of the trees that we plant, because that I think that is the healthiest way to be a part of the experience and baton marathon race that is humanity. So yeah, that's what I got. So I've got a quote here. As soon as I write down something, because I'm trying to make notes here. There we go. I probably wrote the time wrong, but anyways, let's just try to make sure I have the timing for it. Quote I've got today is from a character, Mbopa, from King Solomon's Mines. And I don't remember this book very well. I have it. It's kind of like one of those, I think it was one of the first like Lost World genre of books. I don't remember where I got it from. I remember reading it, as in just the act of reading it. And part of that's also because I had thumbed through it a little while back, because I have some of those books still from when I was younger, which is nice. But this quote here I really enjoy, and that is, "What is life? It is a feather, it is the seed of the grass, blown hither and thither, sometimes multiplying itself and dying in the act, sometimes carried away into the heavens. But if the seed be good and heavy, it may perchance travel a little way on the road it wills. It is well to try and journey and journeys one road, and to fight with the air. Man must die. At the worst, he can but die a little sooner." Yeah. So I enjoyed that. For me, it's a good line. Good lines, good quote that I read poorly because I am impatient when reading. My eyes jumping a little quicker down the road than my mouth's willing to move. But yeah, I think that is, I don't know, that's at least the way I try to carry myself and go through life. Is that so? Just a journey's one road. Anyway, that is what I got for today. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your day, weekend, weekday, weeknight, everything in between. And yeah, the outro. So that there will be music playing as little undercurrents for this as well. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this format for a little bit, just because it's a little bit easier for me and stuff. Anyways, the outro that we're gonna go with is Zero Allies from the Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker soundtrack. I think the Peace Walker is... I thought that was a really enjoyable game in the sense that it was fun to play. Story's a bit batty, but sure, why not? Let's do it. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for listening and enjoy all that sort of fun jazz. I'll catch you later. Bye.